Happiest of Fridays to everybody. I'm happy to be here with you all for Pilates. Those of you who are here, were here when I announced it earlier, we're going to grab our cushions or towel rolls if you'd like to use them. That's the only prop we need. Let's go ahead and get ourselves up to our mat. We'll stand up nice and tall on it. Any extra cushioning you have is going to go off to the side somewhere where we can grab in a few moments. Straighten out my mat a little bit. And we're going to start with our feet a little bit wider apart than our shoulders. We'll settle our weight and then let's turn our toes to point toward the front bottom corners of the room. Excuse me. Let those arms settle down by the sides, and we're going to gently creep those fingertips down a little closer to our outer knee joint line. We'll feel a little tension in our underarms as we press those hands down. And from here, let's look up to the ceiling and then right down toward our chest. We'll repeat that a few times. Excuse me, my studio's a little dusty today, so I'm gonna have to bear with a little bit of coughing and a little bit of sneezing here as I get used to the air in here. We'll face forward again. Give that chin a little nod back toward the neck, and let's turn. Find your side walls. We'll look side to side. Maybe we can get, as we continue to rotate our head, maybe we can get a couple extra degrees and look at that wall behind us. If not, no worries. All right, let's face forward and tip our head side to side, ear to shoulder, and ear to shoulder. And we'll do that one more time to each. Ear to shoulder, and ear to shoulder. Let's come right back to center. Inhaling, we take those shoulders as far up to the ears as we can get them, and exhaling, we drop the shoulders down, taking the blades toward our waistline. One more time, we roll the shoulders up. Now we squeeze them back and toward each other and then drop those blades down toward the waistline. Let's repeat here. Squeeze up, back, and down one more time. Up to the ears, back and toward each other, and down toward that waistline. We're going to let our upper body get nice and heavy. We want our trunk to be stacked right over our pelvis, and our weight, again, is over our heels. Stretch your toes away from each other. So big toe and pinky are spreading. We're going to feel a stretch across the instep and a stretch across our arches here. Let's plant those toes firmly into the floor and bend the knees a little bit, sending the crown of the head to the ceiling and that tailbone down toward the floor. And they're pulling in opposite directions, allowing us to get a little bit more space between each spot in between our head and our tail. Breathing in, our arms come all the way up and overhead. And then breathing out, we take the arms out to the sides and down by the body. Again, let's breathe our arms up and overhead. Once they're reaching the ceiling, turn the palms to face each other and the thumb to face that back wall. We're going to straighten our elbows out as best we can and move those hands out a little bit wider toward a high V or Y position. From here, as we breathe out, we're going to engage belly and spine, tightening that seatbelt of muscles right through our midsection. We're going to feel a little stretch along the sides of our trunk and through our armpits as we do so. And let's sway that upper body side to side, reaching up to the ceiling and over to the top of our sidewall. We press through that foot. We come up through center, big breath in, and we exhale over to that other sidewall. Inhale to the ceiling, breathing out, we side bend. Inhale to the ceiling and breathing out, we side bend one more time. Let's take everything up to the ceiling and open our arms out, turning the palms to face forward, and the hands are at shoulder level. Stretch your fingertips away from the center of the body. We're going to feel those collarbones widen away from our breastbone here. Circle the wall out to either side, spinning the shoulders in their socket for a nice tight circle. If you want to feel a little more intently what's going on through the rest of the body as we circle those arms, close your eyes if you feel safe doing so. We're going to feel ourselves making little adjustments through our legs, our feet, the lower portion of our trunk and pelvis to counter those little motions through the arms. And let's circle those arms the other direction. Upper arms maybe getting a little tired here. 3, 2, and 1. Open the eyes if they've been shut. And we take those arms down by our sides. Give them a shake. Let's swing those hands up to shoulder level. Elbows are going to stay straight here as we point our fingertips to the floor and our palms toward the body, opening up and lengthening out through the top sides of our forearms. And then we flip our palms to face the screen and the fingertips to face the ceiling. Point those fingertips down and point them up. One more time, point them down and point them up. And let's bring the arms down, give everything else a little shake, shimmy those shoulders a bit, and we'll take our hands to the top of that pelvis right at our waistline. Gently press down, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, and we're going to narrow up our base of support. Feet are parallel to each other. We've shifted our weight now from our heels to just in front of the ankles, so just a couple inches forward. And we have a little bit of space between our toes, our heels, and our knees. Keeping those knees nice and soft, lift up your toes. We're going to press the balls of the feet into the floor. You're welcome to look down at the feet as we do so. See how the arches lift as the toes lift? And then as we let our toes come down, the arches come down a bit. Lift the toes. Now we spread our toes apart and we see if we can take them down one at a time. So drop your pinky, then the next toe, the next toe, the next toe, and finally the big toe to the floor. Let's repeat that. Lift those toes up, spread them apart, and tap them down. One more time. Lift the toes up, spread them apart, tap them, and press the big toes into the floor. Shift the weight forward and back, and we're going to take our fingertips to the front of the waist and the thumbs to the back of the waistline. So we're giving a little pinch from fingertip to thumb, right above those waists, right into those oblique muscles. Reset belly and spine toward each other. Draw those muscles in toward the center of the body. We're going to feel a little bit of tension underneath those fingertips, and that tension may shift as we hit different points in that front and back range. Let's shift back over our ankles again, and moving as one unit, we press our weight from foot to foot, feeling those oblique muscles really kick into our fingertips on both sides as we shift from one foot to the other. Let's circle our base of support, coming forward, sideways, and back, moving around the base of support over those ankle joints in a range that allows us to keep both our heels and our toes planted firmly on the mat. And we're going to feel those muscles kick into our fingertips at different points in that range. So turning on and off. Pause, and then let's take that circle the other way, noticing the engagement restarts as we move. We have one more circle here, and then we're going to stop with our weight over the balls of our feet. Once we're there, plant your big toe and your pinky toe into the floor. Shift forward far enough that we can just unweight our heels from the floor. So they may be a millimeter up off the mat there, and we should feel our soles of our feet kicking in. We should feel our calf muscles kicking in, and we might even feel a little bit of work through those inner thighs and our hamstrings. We can hold here, or maybe we challenge it a little bit and go up and down on the toes, lifting and lowering the heels. Again, maybe a millimeter up, a millimeter down. We can go a little more if you'd like. Up and down for 4, 3, 2, and last one. Take those heels down, shift the weight back over the ankles, and shake those knees out. All right, we're going to shake our wrists out too, open and close those fists, and let's take our feet shoulder width apart again. So just widen them up a bit. Feet are going to maintain that parallel position here, and we take the pinky sides of our hands right to the fold in our hips, right where the femur bones fold into the pelvis. Tucking the elbows in by the sides, we're going to think about widening our collarbones from the center of the body. We'll get a little stretch through that chest. Let's tip our tailbone back and the crown of the head forward. So our trunk, head, and neck and pelvis are moving as one unit on our legs. We'll stop when we start to feel a little stretch through the thighs, and then let's squeeze our glutes. As we engage there, we're going to feel the outer and back of our area of our hips engaging to hold us nice and steady. Reach the fingertips toward the mat, palms facing in, and we move to a row. Squeeze and release those shoulder blades while maintaining steadiness through the rest of the body. Squeeze and squeeze, keeping the elbows tucked in by the sides. Press the arms straight, reaching to the wall behind, and then bend those elbows up again. Press them straight and bend, press and bend. And we press the arms straight, sweep them down toward the floor, and let's stand up nice and tall, stacking the trunk and pelvis over those legs again as we reach that high V or Y position with our arms. Let's take the arms down by the sides and get ready to make our way down to the mat. So now's the time to grab your cushion if you have any extra padding. Place it right in the center of the mat, and we're going to turn and face it, backing up enough that when we make our way down to hands and knees, those knees right below the kneecaps are going to rest on any extra cushioning that we have. So we have that extra cushioning and padding for an area that doesn't have a lot of padding of its own. All right, from here, we breathe our shoulders to the ears, exhaling, squeeze them back and roll them down. We'll soften our knees and slide those fingertips down toward the outer ankle joints before making our way down to our mat. Widen the fingers away from each other, inch those toes back, and we're going to take our knees down to our extra padding. Wrists and shoulders, knees and hips are lined up here, and we have the tops of our feet turned under, so we're pressing the balls of the feet into our mat. If this is not comfortable, you are welcome to take the top of the foot and turn it down. Let's say, take a big breath in here, Exhaling, we draw the belly up toward the spine, keeping the trunk, head, and neck nice and still. Let's take our tailbone, rock it back toward the wall behind, lining up our sit bones with our heels. We'll feel that stretch through the arch, a little stretch through the big toe. Pull through the hands to pop ourselves right back up to all fours, and we breathe out, rocking the bottom back to the heels. Inhale, pull up to all fours. Exhale, rock back to the heels. Breathing in, we pull up to all fours, and we take that belly, curl it up to the ceiling, curling the tailbone under and looking to the thighs for cat. Reverse that motion with the tailbone coming to the ceiling and the breastbone coming forward to the wall for cow. Curl it up to cat. Reverse to cow, twice more here. Curl to cat, reverse to cow, and one final time we curl it up and we reverse before coming right back to neutral and turning the tops of the feet down to the mat if they've been curled under. With the upper body staying nice and steady, fold yourself in half, wag your tail from side to side, opening up the belt line on the side we're moving our hips away from. Coming back to center, we now take our toes together, bring the knees to the outer edge of the mat, and let's again press our bottom back toward the heels. Bending the elbows, we bring them down to the mat, and let's slide our forearms back toward the body. Bringing the elbows in until they touch that inner knee joint line or come close to it. Rock your body weight from side to side, feel those inner thighs lengthen out. And then coming back to center, slide or walk those hands toward the head of the mat, finding that first stretch point along the sides of our trunk and the outer borders of our shoulder blades. If you are able to do so, reasonably comfortably, inch your fingertips a little closer to the head of the mat, and let's lower our forehead down first in line with our head in our hands, and then we line them up with that forehead reaching to the floor. Breathe it in, feel the back side of the body opening up. As we exhale, we bend our elbows, lowering the forearms to the floor. Let's shift our body weight over those forearms. Take any cushioning out from under the knees, and we lengthen our legs back behind the body, coming to rest on the upper thighs, below those hip joints. Press through the hands and lift that breastbone up to face the bottom third of the wall in front. Gonna get that chin a little nod so the crown of the head reaches up toward the top of that wall in front of us. Setting belly to spine, we're gonna come to rest right in the middle of our thighs, so above those kneecaps. Squeeze your blades together, that trunk comes down, and then we press through our blades, popping the chest and trunk up off the mat. Squeeze together, press apart, feel those shoulder blades engaging. Squeeze and press, and one more time. Squeeze those blades together, press them toward the floor, and then let's turn to face our screen, tucking the forearm underneath the body. Let's turn over to our backs. Bend the knees. Line your heels up with your sit bones so the ankles, the knees, and the hips are equal distances away from each other. We'll walk our fingertips down toward the outer ankle bones and give that chin a little nod toward the neck. Take a big breath in here, and exhaling, we're going to drop that area between our shoulder blades firmly into the floor and anchor the lowest ribs down. So we feel a little bit of engagement through the upper portion of that abdomen here. We're going to reset belly and spine toward each other and imagine the clock face on our pelvis. Flattening the low back into the mat, we curl the tailbone under and toward that pubic bone, or the pubic bone rather, toward the breastbone. There's 12 o'clock. Release, taking the pelvis down, moving the pubic bone toward the heels. There's our 6 o'clock position. Curl up to 12. Release and lengthen through to 6. Curl to 12. Lengthen to 6 and come right back to center as if we were going to balance something on the points in the front of the pelvis. Let's lift the far side of the pelvis up, rocking toward the screen. There's our 9 o'clock position. Roll through neutral, and then we lift the screen side of the pelvis up, rolling the pelvis toward our far wall. 3 o'clock. Roll through center and rock it to 9. Roll through center and rock it to 3. Come on back to center, flip the palms to face the ceiling. Widen your collarbones again away from center, opening up the chest and allowing those shoulder blades to press a little more firmly into the mat. We raise those arms until the hands are as close to level with our shoulders as we can get them. So we have a straight line from fingertips of one hand to the fingertips of the other. If this is too much pressure on that chest, we lower the hands down a little bit closer to the body. Let's turn the head toward the screen, opening up the far side of the chest. Inhaling, we bring our head to face the ceiling, and then we turn that face toward our far wall, opening up the screen side of the chest. Inhale, look to the ceiling. Exhale, turn toward the screen. Inhale, look to the ceiling, and exhaling, return to our far wall. Let's gaze at the ceiling. We keep that core active, and we bring our arms down till they're about 45 degrees away from the body, and we flip our palms over and press them into the mat. Let's walk our ankles and knees together, and we rock our knees toward the screen, keeping the shoulder blades on the mat. Roll those knees as far over toward the screen as we can keep those shoulders down for. Inhaling, we bring our knees to the ceiling, and then breathing out, we take our knees to the far wall, keeping the shoulder blade on the screen side on the mat. We'll let that hip lift up. Inhale, knees to the ceiling. Exhale, rock them toward the screen. Inhale, knees to the ceiling, and exhaling, we rock them toward that far wall one final time. Breathe right back to the middle, and let's take our hands to the ceiling and reset navel and spine toward each other. We bring one knee up to 90 degrees, and we bring the other knee up to meet it in tabletop. Holding here, let's take our hands to the front of our thighs and drop those shoulder blades and our elbows down a little closer to our hips. As we press our hands and thighs together, we feel that midsection engaging. Hold that pressure, straightening the knees as we breathe in and bending them right back up as we exhale. Inhale, straighten the knees, toes to the ceiling. Exhale and bend. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend, and one final time. Inhale, straighten those knees. Breathing out, we bend them to 90 degrees and take our hands to the outer thighs, just shy of those knee joints. Press again, those elbows tuck in by our sides. We press our hands and our thighs toward each other. Circle the ankles one direction, circle the ankles the other direction, and then point those toes to the wall in front. Big breath in here, exhale, belly to spine, and let's take our far knee all the way into the body. Keeping that core active, we stretch that opposite leg forward to the wall in front and lower down to a hovered position. Big breath in. Exhale, switch the legs, pulling the knee toward the body and pressing the foot forward to the wall in front. Inhale to center, exhale and press. Inhale, knee to chest, exhale and switch. Stretching that far leg toward the wall in front of us, we circle that wall with the toes. There's 4, 3, our motion's coming from our hip joints. And 1, breathe in at the bottom, exhaling, take that circle the other way. There's 4. And 3, 2, and 1, breathe in, knee to chest. Exhale, we switch, pressing that screen side leg forward to its hovered position. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down to reset that shoulder blade position and circle that hovered straight leg on the wall in front. 4, 3, 2, and 1, breathe in. Breathing out, we take that circle the other direction. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that leg down to the mat. We'll take our hand and cross that bent knee over the body. Again, allowing the hip to wiggle up off the floor. Get that pelvis and spine a touch of a twist and feel the opening through the outside of that hip. Breathe it right back to the middle. Switch sides. Knee to chest. Slide the other leg out along the mat. We pull our bent knee across the bottom as that other hand comes to the mat, and we give a little wiggle, allowing the hip to come up off the floor. Big breath in, and let's breathe right back to center, taking our hands and clasping them right behind our lifted thigh. Kick the thigh forward. We're going to feel those shoulder blades stretch toward our hips, and let's lengthen our toes up to the ceiling, straighten out through the knee, and then bend right back to tabletop. Inhale and straighten, exhale and bend. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. One final time, straighten those legs. Big breath in and flex and point those toes. Feel free to bend your knee to give yourself a little extra movement at that ankle. Point those toes to the ceiling and we reset belly to spine as needed. Hover that straight supporting leg up off the floor. And then inhaling, we lift our leg up to meet the other side. Exhaling, we lengthen it forward and down the wall to our hovered position. Inhale, lift the leg toward the ceiling. Exhale, lengthen forward and down the wall. Twice more. Inhale and lift. Exhale, lengthen to hover. And inhale, lift. Exhale, lengthen to hover. Let's take that leg all the way down to the mat. As we press our heel in the back of the knee into the floor, we keep our straight leg right where it is and plant the hands down by our sides. Keeping the pelvis facing the ceiling, take that lifted leg from side to side. There's 4. Cross it over. Here's 3. It's always okay to have a bend in the knee. We want to keep that moving at the hip as much as we can. Keep it in that side to side direction. One more time. Breathe it over toward the wall. Out toward the screen. And then we circle toward the wall. Sweeping through, stirring our hip in its socket. There's 4, 3, 2. Inhale at the top, breathing out, take the arms to the ceiling and drop the shoulders to the mat. Circle that lifted leg the other direction. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Give that knee a hug into the body, release the front of the hip, and flex and point those toes. Breathing in, we draw our other knee in to meet that pulled inside, and exhaling, we lengthen that side we just stretched all the way out along the mat. Hanging on behind our lifted thigh, we clasp those fingers, kick the thigh into the hands, and stretch those toes up to the ceiling. Bend and straighten, keeping the rest of the body other than that knee nice and still. 2 more, bend, inhale, straighten, exhale, bend, and inhale, we extend that knee, toes to the ceiling. Flex and point for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Reset belly to spine, hover that straight supporting leg off the mat. We inhale our covered leg up to meet the stretching side, and then exhale it forward and down the wall to hover. Inhale and lift, exhale and lower. Inhale and lift, exhale and lower, and one more time. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower through hover and all the way to the mat. Our lifted leg stays still as we float our hands down by our sides. Let's take that lifted leg out to our side wall and up and over toward the screen. Take it away, up and over. 2 more, out to the side, up and over, and last one, out to the side, up and over toward the screen, and let's circle the ceiling here for 4, 3, 2, and breathe in at the top. Taking that breath out, we circle it the other way. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend that knee, hug it into the body, release the front of the hip, and flex and point those toes. Let's keep our core active as we bring our other knee in. Toes come together. We're going to turn our knees out to the side walls and drop the heels toward the bottom. So we're shooting for chins being parallel to the ceiling here. We can take our hands to our knees and guide everything up to a little bit higher of a position. The knees are still out, shot slightly farther than the hips. The toes are together, and we're going to float our arms to the ceiling, dropping the blades and dropping the belly down toward the spine. Hold frog here for a big breath in, and then breathing out, we press our toes to the wall in front, taking those knees toward each other. Inhale to frog, exhale, press forward. If you need less pressure on your trunk, as we exhale, we press a little closer to the ceiling. Inhale to frog and exhale, press. Inhale to frog and exhale, press. Sweep the legs to the ceiling, breathe to V, and take those feet together. Inhale to V, exhale, feet together. Inhale to V, exhale, feet together. One more time. Inhale to V, exhale to narrow V. We move to helicopter, connecting 2 semicircles in our midline. One leg is forward, one leg's a little closer to the body. Helicopter for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Sweep those toes to the ceiling, glue the ankles and knees together, and we move to corkscrew. Circle the ceiling, both legs moving at the same time. We can go counter or clockwise. You pick, we're going to do them both. One more circle, whatever way you're going, breathing in at the top. Belly to spine as we exhale, and we circle the opposite direction. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Keep those legs to the ceiling. We're going to hang on to the back of the thigh on the screen side leg. Roll the shoulders back and down, and then we lengthen the free leg forward and down the wall to hover. Nod to look toward that kneecap and reset belly to spine. We pull that leg toward the body, getting a little more length through our hamstring, and switch sides. Pull. If you need to bend your knees, that's fine. We want to keep them bent the entire duration of our motion if we do have the leg bend. Switch it up and switch. Nod that chin toward the neck. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug everything into the center of the body. Circle the ankles toward each other. Circle them away from each other. And then we're going to line up our heels with our sit bones with the feet on the mat. With the arms down by the sides, we rock those knees away from and toward the screen. And bring them right back to the middle. Rock them away from the screen. Rock them toward the screen. And again, we come right back to center. Big breath in. Exhale, belly to spine. With the hands down by our sides, we'll move our heels a little closer to the bottom and get ready to bridge. So we draw belly to spine. We squeeze those glutes. And let's press our heels through the floor. Unweight the hips from the mat. And we're going to lift up with that pelvis, lengthening the knees toward the wall in front. Pause when you first start to get a little stretch through those quads. And then let's press our arms a little more firmly into the mat. If you can lift higher without pulling into your lower back, you're welcome to lift and squeeze those glutes to take those hips up a little higher. Breathing in, we lower those hips down to the mat, tap them to the floor. Exhale, squeeze and lift through the range we can control with the back side of our hips. Inhale, lower those hips down. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Inhale, lower the hips. Exhale, squeeze and lift. We hold that squeeze and one at a time take a knee out to each side wall. There's 8. Switch 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big breath in here and breathing out. We lengthen that body down to the floor. Release the glutes when the sacrum touches the mat and rock those knees side to side. We'll take a big breath in here and a big breath out. Knees to the ceiling, breathe in. Exhale, belly to spine, squeeze the glutes and lift those hips toward the ceiling. Holding those hips up in the air, let's take our heels up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Heels come down, take a breath. Breathing out, we lengthen that body down. And we release the glutes at the bottom, taking the knees side to side for 4, 3, rock 2, and 1. Come on back to center, big breath in. Breathing out, we reset belly to spine, squeeze the glutes. Press the heels through the floor and lift up to bridge one final time. Let's take one knee up, bring it toward the chest, march. Press the foot down, switching knees. And march. And march. Repeat here for 4, 3, 2. Last one, press that foot into the mat and we take a big breath in as our hips lift. Exhaling, we lengthen that body down to the floor. Release the glutes at the bottom and rock those knees side to side. Inhale those knees to the ceiling and then breathing out, we cross an ankle over the other knee. If you have more slack without pulling into the shoulders and neck, go ahead and lift that other leg up off the floor. And then from here, we'll give our body a side to side rock. You feel that stretch move to different parts of the hip as we rock to different points. Bring him back to center. We'll take our foot down and switch legs, ankle to knee. Again, if we have slack, we'll lift and take that body side to side. All right, come on back to center. Hug the knees into the chest and we take our feet back to the floor. Let's turn toward our screen, grab our cushions, place them right back in the center of the mat. Go ahead and meet me up on that all four position with the knees on the cushion. All right, once we're there, spread those fingers apart. Big breath in, exhale, belly to spine, and hold. We're going to turn those toes under if we can. Press the toes into the mat. Press the heels of the hands into the mat. And unweight your knees. Feel those thighs working, feel your trunk working. Shift side to side, toward and away from the screen. If this is too much on your upper body, bring those knees back to the mat. Come on back to center. Our knees come down. We turn the tops of the feet to the floor. Curl to cat. Take it to cow and come back to neutral, giving the tail a wag to either side. As we come back to center, we'll slide our screen side leg back. Squeeze that glute and lift up until that leg is toward trunk level. Reach the opposite arm forward. Hold it here. Tap the fingertips and toes down. Lift them back up. Tap and lift. 2 more. Tap and lift. Tap and hold. Hold that bird dog. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the hand down. Breathe the knee back to center and exhale our opposite leg back. Squeezing the glute, we'll lengthen the leg up the back wall, lifting until we're at trunk and shoulder level. Bring the opposite arm forward, reach to the wall. Toes and feet and fingers tap down for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold bird dog. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hand comes down, knee comes down, curl it up through cat. Lengthen it through to cow and come on back to center. Slide that screen side leg back behind the body and we arc it toward our screen. Let's press our foot down into the floor, dropping the pinky side of the foot down as close as we can to the mat and lengthening through our straight inner thigh. Draw it down toward the floor. Holding here, we take our screen side arm out to the screen and breathing in, we look to the hand. Exhale, thread the needle, reach through to the far wall, looking over the shoulder. One more time, inhale the arm toward the screen and then breathing out, we thread it through. Take the hand back to the mat and we rock the bottom back to the heels and then come up tall. If the rock back doesn't feel great, simply maintain that position upright with the hip over the knee and breathe into that inner thigh length. One more time, bottom to heel if you're choosing to move and inhale up over those hands. We'll slide the leg back behind the body. Inhale, knees to level with the other knee, and we curl through cat, reversing to cow. Come on back to center, slide the opposite leg back, arc it to the far wall. Press your foot into the mat and press the pinky side of that foot down as we lengthen that straight leg inner thigh down to the floor. Let's float our far arm out to the far wall and look to the fingertips as we breathe in. Exhaling, thread the needle, reach through to the screen, looking over your shoulder. Inhale up and out, and exhale, thread. Bring that hand back down to the mat. We either stay put here, breathing into that inner thigh length, or we add our rock backs. Bottom to heel, come up tall. Bottom to heel, take it up, exhale back, take it up, and one more time, exhale back. Inhale up over those hands, slide that leg back, draw it into center, curl through cat, and reverse to cow. Let's bring our body back to neutral. Walk the hands slightly forward and shift the shoulders over those wrists again. Lengthen the leg back, place the ball of the foot on the floor, and we lift our other side up to plank. Pressing the heels of the hands into the mat, keeping those hips open, we lower our knees down toward our cushion, and then we press right back to plank. Inhale, lower, exhale, press to plank. Inhale, lower the knees. Exhale, press to plank. And one more time, inhale, lower the knees. We're going to hold the position here. Shift side to side. There's 4. Shift 3 and 2. Back to center. Press to plank. Widen those feet a touch. And then take your tailbone toward the ceiling. We're going to press through the hands, bending the knees as much as we need to line up our head with those arms. We can wag our tail side to side. We can walk our feet out. Pause those legs and lower the heels toward the mat. Inhale, lift up to the toes. Exhale, lower the heels. Inhale, lift it to the toes, and we come forward to plank again, drawing our knees right back down to our cushion. Walk the hands toward the thighs, and we're going to come up to a tall kneel and give those wrists a shake. Okay, get settled on your cushion again. With the hands at the front of the thighs, we roll our shoulders up, back, and down. And let's reset belly and spine toward each other and lean back till we feel the front of our thighs engaging. Breathing in, we come up nice and tall. And then breathing out, we lean that body back again. We're aiming for a straight line from knee to hip to shoulder to head. Do the best you can. Inhale up and exhale, lean it back. Inhale up and breathing out, we come forward. Bring the forearms to the mat, take the cushion out from under the body. And we're going to lower our thighs to the floor. Big breath in here and exhale, belly to spine. Bend and straighten one knee at a time, nice and controlled, bringing a heel toward the bottom. If you want to challenge that trunk stability a little more, give 2 quick kicks of the heel to the bottom. Kick, 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 and kick, kick. Lower the leg, take a big breath in, and exhaling, we're going to turn toward our screen and then take a seat on our mat facing lengthwise the opposite direction of where we were just laying. Bend the knees. We're going to get ourselves toward the center of the mat. And we're going to start here with our weight over the very front of our sit bones. So the majority of our rear end is behind us here. We're going to take those feet forward a little bit, grab behind the thighs, inhaling here, and then exhaling, we draw belly to spine and lean back until we can support our thighs with our hands a little bit. From there, we draw our heels back. And we angle that body back until we start to feel our abdominals working. From here, the hands come to the outer thighs. Tuck the elbows in by the sides and then press the hands and thighs toward each other. Hold it here. We're gonna open and close one arm at a time. Take that arm toward a side wall and then bring it right back to the knee, repeating with our other side. Inhale to the thigh, exhale, open. 2 more, one on each side. Inhale, back to center. Switching arms and then grab those shins, pop the body up nice and tall and roll the shoulders back and down. Let's take our hands back behind us. Fingertips are pointing toward our side walls. We have a little bit more weight biased toward the outer border of our hand here, so the pinky side. And we're going to press firmly through the heel of the hand and squeeze those shoulder blades together. Send your breastbone up the wall in front, aiming to reach it and the collarbones to the top of that wall in front of us. Let's inch that bottom forward, bringing it toward our heels. We're going to start to feel our biceps lengthen out and we'll feel a little more stretch through the chest. I want you to go through a range that feels reasonable to you. So a bit of opening, no sharp pain, no sharp pulling anywhere here, okay? Big breath into the chest. And as we breathe out, if you have a little more slack to give, we walk the feet toward the bottom. We can unweight our hips and lift up into reverse tabletop. Hold wherever you are. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's lower those hips down. We'll turn to face our screen. Give the wrists a shake. Roll out those hands a little bit one direction and then the other. And then we're going to make our way down onto our sides. Resting on that bottom arm, we bring our knees forward and line the heels up with our sit bones. Let's take our hand to the bottom of the waistline and lift that waistline up. The top hand comes to the very top of the pelvis. And let's press that top knee up and down. Clam. 4, 3. Keep the waistline lifted. 2, and 1. Bring the knee down. We lift only the top leg. Keep it bent. Here's hydrants. 4, 3, 2, and 1. With that top leg at hip level, take the bottom toes up to meet the top toes. Rotation through the bottom hip. Here's 2. Last one, toes stay together, and we lift our top knee up again. Lift 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, feet come down. Press your top hand into the mat and lift the knees up and down. There's 4, 3. Whole different movement here. 2, and 1. Take the knees down. Slide the bottom leg out straight. Our top toes stay on the bottom knee. Now we take that top knee up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to hip height. Lift the toes up to match that knee and stretch the toes forward. Swing the toes back, swing them forward, swing them back, forward, swing them back and hold in there. Reset that waistline and toes come down and up for 4, 3, 2. Lift them up and hold. Pulse that leg up to the ceiling. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Slide the bottom leg back. Pressing into that top hand, we lift and lower that bottom leg. There's 8, 7. Pull the bottom knee up to the top knee. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take those feet down, bend the knees up. We'll give that hip a pat and reach forward. Inhale, take that hand to the ceiling and look to the fingertips. Take an exhale and reach back toward the far wall. Inhale, arm up, exhale it forward. Let's press into the mat and take ourselves up and over all the way to the other side. Take your time. Once we're down, those knees are forward, heels are lined up with our bottom. And we bring our top hand to the waistline and lift that bottom waistline up from the mat. With the top hand on the top of that pelvis, we take our knee up and down, clam for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that knee down, float the whole top leg up. 4, 3, hydrant for 2, and 1. Lower to hip level, bottom toes come up and down. 3, 2, and 1. Glue them together, the knee comes up and down. Lift 3, lift 2, lift 1. Knees come down, feet come down. Press the top hand into the mat. We lift both our knees for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it down to the mat. Slide the bottom leg out. Our top leg is touching. Toes are touching the bottom knee. Press into the top hand and we take our knee up and down. Lift 3. Lift 2. Lift 1, back to hip height, lift the toes to level off with the knee, stretch the toes forward, swing the leg back, swing forward, swing back, 2 more times, swing forward, swing back, swing forward, swing back, and we touch our toes down and up. There's 4, 3, lift up that waistline, here's 2, lift and hold, pulse the top leg up, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and hold. Pressing our top hand into the mat, we tighten up that bottom thigh and lift the bottom knee. 7. Keep those legs straight as you can. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that top leg down, bend the knees, and pat out your hip. We reach toward that screen and inhale, taking the hand to the ceiling. Look to the fingertips and breathe out, taking the arm to the far wall. Inhale, arm up, and breathe it forward. Let's turn onto our backs. Bend up those knees and release the hands down by our sides. Rock those knees toward and away from the screen, keeping the shoulder blades on the mat. And rock. And rock. Come on back to center. Cross your far ankle over that screen side knee. And we lift. Hold it here. Rock that body side to side. Big breath in. Breathing back to center, we switch it up, ankle to knee. If we have slack, we lift. And then we rock side to side, whether that other foot is on the mat or lifted up. Breathe back to center, unwind, and give those knees a hug into the body. Press your toes together, bring the knees slightly apart, they're reaching toward the armpits. And we again rock everything side to side. Big breath in. And breathe right back to center. Take the feet down to the mat. We're going to turn toward our screen. We'll turn over through hands and knees, but we'll come to a crouch so the knees are off the floor. Let's walk our hands back toward our feet. Shift the weight back over the front of the ankle joints. And once we have our bearings there, we press ourselves up nice and tall to stand-ins. Take your time here. If you get dizzy at all, just sit tight or stand tight, however you're most comfortable. And then let's meet in the center of the mat. We're going to do a brief round of balancing. So if you do want to have something steady next to you, a chair that's sturdy enough for you to be able to put your hand on it and balance, go ahead and grab that now or get yourself close to a countertop or a wall. We're going to bring our feet to line up with our sit bones, so kind of a neutral base of support here, and our hands go either to our hips or to that steady object that you're going to balance with. Shifting the weight to one side, we bring our other foot forward. We'll stand heel to toe. Once you have your balance here, if you want to take that further, we can turn the head and look side to side. If you want to continue to look straight ahead, that is completely fine. Looking toward the screen, we shift toward our back leg, and we're going to lift up into single leg balance. Again, if you want to challenge this position, let's turn that head. Facing the screen, we'll hold here, hold that balance for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's switch sides. Shifting to the other foot, we lift up that leg and bring the foot in front so we're standing heel to toe. Again, decide how much support you want from any external surface. And then if you want to take it further, look side to side, turn your head. Let's look forward and shift the weight to the back leg. Rise up to single leg balance. Again, adjust your level of support as needed. Progressing if you'd like by turning that head again. Looking forward, we hold it here. Hold 4, 3, 2, and 1. And let's take those feet shoulder width apart. We'll shake out our wrists, shake those legs out, and then settle the weight back down toward the heels. Inhaling and exhaling, we shrug and release our shoulders. Inhale, look up. Exhale, look toward the breastbone. Inhale, look toward the screen, and let's turn the head side to side before facing forward. We'll bring our feet together, and we're going to close with a big breath in. Arms come out to the side, up and overhead, and we look to the fingertips as we press our palms together before bringing everything into center. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody have a great weekend. And if you have a holiday on Monday, enjoy it. And I'll see y'all soon.